Hey, how you doing? It's Mark again. I'm starting a new series called This Is How We Did It, and this is volume 1, and it's about Bob James, because I've been doing some work on this album here, which I know that all of the heads out there will know that this is quite important for a few reasons in the history of sampling. But Bob James is a guy who in the 70s did a lot of really excellent recordings which have been sampled massively throughout hip-hop of that era in the 80s and 90s particular, and I've got a few tracks that I've got here on not on vinyl, just on digital to play. A guy called Adam F did a drum and bass track to this tune which is called Westchester Lady. Drum and bass heads probably recognise it. So yeah, so that's called Westchester Lady, and they did another track called Nautilus, which is literally one of the most monumental pieces of instrumental jazz nastiness you'll ever hear. Just, wow. Amazing. Yeah, that's a really heavy tune. Take Me to the Mardi Gras, which is Run DMC, used that. So, to cut to the chase, okay? So, most of you know Arrested Development, People Every Day, okay? So, that is, the original sample is on this album here, and it's a track called Tappan Zee, which Tappan is a New York tribe name of American Native Indians, and Zee is Dutch for sea. And basically, Bob must have lived near there because Westchester is just over the road where he must have met that lady from the last track I played. So anyway, I'm going to play you this tune here, which is called Tappan Zee. And it's got massive horn intro. And I've sort of given the game away. I shouldn't have told you who sampled it anyway at the beginning. But here we go. This is the tempo that it's at pitch 33 with no pitching up. Okay, stop you there, right? So that's pretty mellow. You're sort of falling asleep in the back of a taxi in New York in 1977. We actually did the theme to Taxi, which was called Angela, and it's a beautiful tune, that is. So what I've done here is taken it from the pitch of 33 and I put it up to +8, so it's now starting to get a bit more up-tempo, so it can be played not like the Arrested Development track, which is like 91 BPM, but in a bit more of a bumping club scenario. Okay. Okay, starting to move now, okay? So from there, and I've done all this previously because I've actually finished this edit today, and it's up online now, but let me just set everything out here. Wow, this is some crazy loud ass music I made today. So here we go. So what I've done is I pitched it up and then I've taken it up to 106 BPM, and the reason why I pitch it up is just to get the momentum in it, but also if you're going to time stretch a track, you don't want to be doing it at concert pitch and then basically stretching it like 10 BPM when you could have pitched it up, and you're saving all of what happened. The music gets sort of distorted and destroyed by the stretching, and it sort of means you can't mix it properly and it doesn't sound very good. So anyway, I took it and I've put it at 106 BPM, and I found a Missy Elliott and Beyonce and MC Light a cappella. It's called something about Fighting Temptation is what it's called. Anyway, so this is where I've got to with it now, and I'm going to leave the a cappella off it, and you just hear the production, and I'll run through a little bit of the production techniques that I use. Okay. Wrong thing. rave noises. Drop your love pellets. Bottom end coming in. That's all filtered, I'll show you that later. So you can get a proper shuffle onto that now. Okay? So I'm making these for DJs really. And I'm being honest, I kind of probably just personally would just prefer the instrumental because you get to feel Bob James' pure jazz brilliance. Okay, so I'll start taking things out here, right? So now I'm going to take the sample out and show you how I do the bass on these tracks, okay? Okay, so what I do is I take the bass out of the original track and I do an equal track underneath it and take all the top end off, and then I boost the hell out of that and put it underneath and have the two of them going at the same time, so you can hear it there. And if I put the bass, I bring in the drums I've added here now, okay? First kick is pointy, probably from an SP1200. Next one's boomy from an 808. Then we got a hi-hat. Then we got a nice snare, which I think I actually mixed too loud today, so apologies when that takes your head off if you listen to it later. So that's the bass and the drums rolling there. Okay, bring back the main sample. Okay, rolling now. Okay, I'm going to rewind it now, and what I'll do is I'll show you what I did with the vocal. Now the vocal was pretty. I mean, I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I think she's a fake, if I'm honest with you. It's not soul music in my opinion. But MC Lyte is one of the best to do it, for sure. Missy Elliott is one of the best pop artists to do it, for sure. So what I did is I took Missy Elliott and MC Lyte out of there, and I got rid of Beyonce, which I'm sure she's got enough fans anyway. She doesn't need me as one. Here we go. We'll go from the top to get that rave momentum going again, and then you'll hear how I've done the vocal to make it, you know, a full tune for playing. Okay, I'm going to solo the vocal now. Okay, so nothing, just the vocals, and then I'll bring the music. So that's Beyonce. That's all she gets. 2 seconds.
Ooh, ladies! Hey, we got that beat that makes you jump. To my fellas, y'all got them cars, the ladies love. Party people, we gonna party all night. Let your soul keep on working now. Type of chick who be fighting temptation, make you wait before we have a relation. Playboy, holla at me later. Don't you know I'm in his brother? They show I'm a exterminator. I look good, so hate me.
So yeah,
Me and my girls drinking where's the waiter.
she sits good on the track, okay? I've got my old spar Ed Pitt, who I started Fat City Records with. He got rid of like 1,000 12-inches, which had loads of tracks that I wouldn't have bought as a DJ at the time, but I bought just the acapellas on them. So I could do this, right? Because I don't like the original track of Beyonce and Missy and MC Lyte. Actually, MC Lyte sounds sick to death on this, I'll tell you. Here she comes in now, I'll go back in. Check MC Lyte out on this.
We in the club, free gully, no doubt. See this real deal player staring dead in my mouth. He got his crew, but I got mine too. Send a note to my table like, what you gonna do? I game got him spreading me out. In my ear, drive tears, how he left his spouse. And oh, the nice cars and impressive house. He wanna run up in, I ain't no regular route. Me and the girls, we ain't stressing out. We ain't birds, we ain't heading south.
Yeah, so that's MC Lyte on there, who's great. So what these acapellas do is they mean I can reimagine famous tracks like this Tappan Zee track here, which is beautiful. beautiful piece of jazz and amazingly produced as well. And I'll tell you about some of the players on this record. And if you think, you listen to that flute playing, right? And I only sort of realised this today when I was looking at researching to talk to you, okay? Is that flute sounds a bit like this flute off Spellbound, doesn't it, right? Okay. Well, check this out. There he is. There's the man who played the flute on Spellbound. His name's Hubert Laws, and these people here are just the most insanely talented jazz artists and players from the New York 70s scene. One person they haven't got in the photographs is Steve Gadd. Now, Steve Gadd is one of the sickest drummers ever. Just amazing feel. I think he played the drums on 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover by Paul Simon, yeah? So if you think about that sort of crazy syncopated break, that's him, yeah? So I feel a bit bad, I'm sort of semi-quantizing him in this original jazz track, but yeah, it's there to be done. And talking about drums, I did I posted a thing recently going on about how samples from Mars were like really important to my productions, and it's because what they've done is they've got all the drum machines, SP1200, MPC60, Roland 808s, 909s and everything, and they put them down to tape, all the original sounds and good samples, and then they comped them all up. And then what it means is that you can immediately get something close to what people were doing in the 80s when they would be using those drum machines to put against Bob James, except you've got all the control of modern production. You know, I mean, basically at the moment, I don't want to move the camera too much because it was trying to fall over before, but there's these Apollo twins over here, and these are via Universal Audio. So what's inside there, I can get some of the most powerful digital mixing equipment. And I was never a mixer. I was telling you in the last video that, you know, I used to have good partnerships with people who are great at that stuff. But, you know, the way the music industry's gone, you've got to learn to do everything yourself. And I include mastering in that. So I've made a bit of a mess along the way. But, you know, I've done about 120 edits now or something. But it's exciting. And I do it because this is what I was doing in the late 80s with tape decks, really. It's just an extended version of it. And when it gives you, you know, you get the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. If you're looping like Tappan Zee by Bob James and you're getting it really banging, they're just the beauty of the musicianship and how you're making, you know, edits in this way, you know, it's a powerful experience. I mean, I can remember taking huge amounts of records into Steve in the early Rain Christian days, and he's going, you've got like 13 bars of someone's record there. But, you know, now I'm taking whole records and then just taking out the bits I don't like, then getting a different a cappella and putting that over the top, and then getting these old Mars samples from Mars drums, and then using this Universal Audio plugins to like drive it all, and try to make stuff for DJs. Really, I mean, I don't make stuff that's you know, like kids club music. I'm still connected to what I was doing with my love of everything that led to, you know, the start back in Manchester there. But anyway, I'm talking a lot now about making beats. I'm gonna do these for most of the edits that I do, and at some point I'll take you, if I can get another camera down there, I'll take you in and go through some of the equipment, because I know some of you watching will be like asking me, and I can't follow what everyone's saying here, I'm sorry, but you know, what compressors do I use? Well, okay, we'll just do a bit of it now. So basically, just recently I got the UAD DBX 160, which is a little box thing. It would have been an original, it would have been that size, and all the kicks and snares that you put through that become very monstrous and aggressive. But yeah, I could go on for another half an hour about all that stuff. But anyway, thanks for listening. I don't want to make it too long. I'll put a link to this track down at the bottom. It's called Bob's Temptation. I tend to do word plays, so it's Bob James and it's Fighting Temptation. And thank you everyone for the support. I've got a bit of a... I'm going to try and do something. I shouldn't really be giving this away. I want to try and do something with... I don't know, will he pull it off? I bought this the other day, right? I went to Hyde Park Corner with my son, and it started to absolutely piss down, And so I thought, well, we'll go and see this live show of the snowman, right? And it said it's interactive. And we went in, and we were in this massive tent. And, you know, that you saw the first part of the film, and in front of you was like just somebody's lounge, you know, with like a stuffed cat and a television set and one sofa. And I thought, why are they going to bring actors in, and it's going to be like, you know, something, and someone's going to be on rope for the money we bloody paid it should have been. Anyway, nothing happened. The cat didn't even move. So then we watched the beginning. They moved on to the next room, and it was the motorbike scene, and it's just an orange torch, right, on the ground, moving around like this. And I think it's 35 quid for this. It's for the two of us. Well, it's 25 actually. And then they moved you on to the next room, which was like an unattended dinner dancing party. And basically, it was at the very end, a 7-foot snowman came in. All the kids just start crying their eyes out. Ridiculous. So anyway, I'm going to try and make an edit with the snowman theme, not to get... I mean, it wasn't the people's fault who made the film that it was such a bad disgrace in Hyde Park Corner, but I'm very emotionally moved by that music on the snowman. So I think I'll try and do something weird with it, and put see if I can find any MCs or singers that fit the mood of that music, and leave the testicle-free Welsh choir boys out of it. Anyway, it's a pleasure to spend a Sunday evening few minutes with you, and thanks for listening to that riot of ridiculousness. And yeah, here we go again, and I'll see you all soon. And I'm out.